Am I the a-hole for reading my husband's snaps? Lately my husband has been less and less attentive, not caring much about what we do together. I constantly starting seeing him snapping and sending stories. Didn't think much about it until curiosity picked at me. I starting reading his snaps with one of his girlfriends and realized most of the snaps and messages had been sent when we had been spending time together. Not gonna lie, I am very hurt since here he was complimenting other girls and giving them attention while our daily interactions are mostly non-existent. And worst of all, he is dedicating them time that he is technically spending with me? He does not know that I read his snaps, but should I address this with him? Am I the a-hole for playing music loudly in the morning? Atmosphere in the house is incredibly uncomfortable and roommate says they want to move out. Am I being an a-hole? I, 31F, placed an ad for a roommate. A friend of a friend saw it, Matt, 27M, said they liked my place and we met for a coffee. I told him generally what I'm like as a roommate. Your normal stuff, but I emphasized I love mornings, wake up around 4:30/5am and can be loud sometimes. I explicitly said that if he was a late riser, he should look for a flat elsewhere. He told me that it was fine, he'll make do, and we agreed on him moving in 4 months ago on a monthly renewal. For the past month, Matt's behavior as a roommate has considerably declined. He's messier, noisier, and doesn't talk to me as much as he did when he first moved in. We used to run together, go grocery shopping together. Nowadays, he sits in his room whenever he isn't at work and leaves common areas when I walk in. I barely see the guy. He texted me today that he wants to end his lease and move out because I am inconsiderate as a roommate and gave several examples, mainly that I play music out loud in the morning. I did not realize any of these were an issue until today. We had a bit of a back and forth where I asked why he didn't tell me sooner and he said he thought I would stop soon because it's common sense that you shouldn't play music out loud at 5 a.m. I was shocked and told him that was what he agreed to when we went for coffee. He then sent me his email to contact him and blocked my number. I think he's being childish for a 27-year-old man. He still lives here and we still need to coordinate him moving out. Was I really an a-hole for playing my music out loud in the morning? Am I the a-hole for a thing I said at my birthday dinner? Hi, English is not my first language, so sorry for mistakes. I, 28F, used to be a part of a best friend group with 3 other girls. We are all around the same age. Me and one of the girl, Jenny, had been on and off friends since 3 years old. Through the years I've had to take several breaks from our friendship because she gets mad when she doesn't control everything her friends do or say. Couple of years ago this new friend group formed. It was me, Jenny, Sabrina and one other girl who's irrelevant to this story. Last summer Jenny started to ignore me in all social settings. We would all still hang out, she just didn't talk to me. This time it was easier to deal with it because it wasn't just us two. I had Sabrina, who I was closest to out of the 3. Sabrina told me she was ignoring me because a few weeks before summer we were all partying together. I was the driver. Later that evening Jenny asked if her boyfriend and friend could get a ride home with us. I said unfortunately I only have 5 seats in my car, so I didn't have room for 6 people. She told me the friend could be in the trunk. I told her absolutely not. I don't want to get in trouble if anything happens. In the following September I invited all of my friends to my birthday dinner. The plan was me and Sabrina would go out to brunch and play darts with a few other friends that were not a part of the other group, and later all my other friends would join us at a restaurant for dinner. Because the way Jenny had been treating me since summer, I told Sabrina that I'd rather not invite Jenny to my birthday. Sabrina asked me to invite her to keep the peace in the group, so I sent Jenny an invitation to the dinner. She didn't reply. Sabrina encouraged me to ask her again, so I did. Her reply was, "Of course I'll come." So the day of the birthday Sabrina texts me and tells me she needs to skip brunch and darts because Jenny doesn't want to show up alone to dinner. I was a little frustrated but told her it was okay. When dinner rolls around they show up about 30 minutes late. Sabrina hugs me but Jenny didn't even look at me or wish me happy birthday. I'll admit, I was a bit tipsy, so this is where I might be the a-hole. I looked at Jenny and said, "Why would someone show up to my birthday and not even say hi?" Jenny finished her meal paid by me and left. Few days later Jenny texted me and told she didn't like how I spoke about her on my birthday and blocked me everywhere. Sabrina said that I knew how Jenny was, so I should have just let her act like that without calling her out. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for talking shit? A year ago I talked shit with Girl A. To give some context, Girl A brought up Girl B while we were talking with each other. To be honest, I never really knew Girl B. Hearing what others said about her, it was pretty bad. What I've heard is that she fought for guys and that she dated her friends' exes. And basically dated most of the guys in our class, which was proven true. But I kept that to myself, not talking about it with Girl A. I never been close with Girl B, either Girl A. Nor do I have bad intentions towards Girl B as well as Girl A. But I did talk shit about her with Girl A. However, I didn't thought I'd said anything bad. So I don't think I really did talk shit. And I followed Girl A Insta thinking nothing of it. However, since Girl A is very talkative and tells others about things whenever she wants, since she does have a lot of information. I mean, she follows most of the people in our school and has relations with everyone. All that's to say that she's pretty popular. Well, one day when I checked on her stories, I found out that she posted about Girl B and said that she's her friend and that she loves her. Then, realizing that she's her friend, and that she probably took what I said to heart, and probably did tell her what I said, I started to think to myself, until my guess was proven right. We were doing Put Your Finger Down with others. And it asked, put a finger down if you ever talk shit. Then Girl A said, put your finger down, my name. Which I knew she was talking to me about Girl B, since that's the only person I ever talked shit with her about. But I don't think of it as talking shit. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for taking a hallway expense out of HOA fee? Apologies in advance for the sort of boring AITA post. Wanted to get some second opinions BC. I'm trying to be more consciously NTA. I own an apartment in a 3-unit row house, which means our HOA is just me and 2 other guys. All of us rent our units to tenants. I've been informed by my tenants and the tenants in Unit 2 that the hallway smoke detector low battery notification has been beeping loudly for 2 weeks. They cannot change it because it is high above stairs and dangerous to reach with a ladder. I texted the group chat with the 2 other landlords in the building, and both didn't seem to care / sort of bullied me by saying I should just tell my tenants to take care of it. It isn't their problem, yada yada. This may be irrelevant, but I am a young woman and they are both men in their 50s/60s, so they sometimes talk down to me. None of us are located in the city of our unit, so I had my maintenance man go and replace the smoke detector. I sent the receipt to the group chat for $100, assuming we would split it 3 ways. I received 2, I'm not paying that responses. To which I replied I would be taking it out of my HOA fee for the following month. They both sent very threatening messages in response saying that's not how HOA works, and I replied I appreciate your concerns regarding this matter. If you feel that further discussion is necessary, you are welcome to seek the assistance of a legal mediator. However, from my perspective, this issue has been resolved. Just hoping for others' thoughts on this. AITA for taking it out of my HOA fee. Am I the a-hole for not rehoming my dog? Bit of backstory. We got a puppy last summer, for my partner. But the dog took a liking to me. 6 months later, we got an older dog for my partner. My puppy is fully grown and has taken a dislike to the new dog and keeps attacking it. We've had to take measures now to keep them apart at all times. We've had the new dog 6 months now, and nothing will improve. My partner says I should rehome my dog. But my dog was here first. Am I the a-hole? Would I be the a-hole for not dressing up as a mariachi for my grandma's birthday? Edit, my brothers pranked me, my mom got the mariachi band. So my grandma's F85 is turning 86 next week. She recently got diagnosed with dementia, and as a result my family has been a bit extra in trying to create memories for her. My grandma is Cuban but is obsessed with Mexico. Mexican music, food, culture, all of it. My mom was trying to hire a mariachi band for her, but they range around the 2K range, so she had the idea of ordering myself, my brother M26, my other brother M38, and my Sil F30 custom-made mariachi outfits with fake instruments for her birthday. I personally don't want to do it. Why spend nearly $300 for fake props and a costume when I can sing and make a setlist of music that was my grandma's favorite and sing? Would I be the a-hole for refusing? Am I the a-hole for dropping plans with a friend after no confirmation? Sorry for formatting, mobile. A while ago I got back in contact with a good friend of mine. She was hard to reach due to debilitating depression, but I would send her occasional messages of good vibes and love. I knew she was getting them even if she never replied, so I'd been sending them every 1 to 2 weeks for probably a year and a half when she sent me a message 2 months ago. She was doing better, and wanted to arrange weekly calls to play Terraria together. I was so excited to hear from her again, and we set up a regular day of the week, but the time was flexible due to my variable work schedule. For 5 weeks, we texted the day before we'd play and the day of to confirm availability. Last week, I let her know the day before a time slot that I could put aside to call and play together. The day of, I messaged her 5 times with no response about timing, if she would prefer to just chat if she didn't have the energy, and then wishing her well when I didn't hear from her. An hour before the time slot I had set aside for her, with no reply, I got a message from another friend who I hadn't caught up with in weeks and we were dying to talk to each other. So, I called him until I had to go to work. After work, I saw my Terraria friend had messaged me during the call about if I would like to chat rather than play and then, concerned, asked me if I was okay. I then messaged her an apology and explained that since she hadn't replied to any of my texts about calling, I assumed she wasn't available and busied myself. She hasn't spoken to me since. I feel bad because I told her I had a time set aside for her, but then I spent it with someone else. Is that an a-hole move? Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for lying about why me and my wife are using a surrogate? Am I the a-hole? My wife and I have been married for 6 years. We are both 32. My wife grew up obese, her word choice, always being 80 to 150 pounds heavier than she should have been. She started working out in her early 20s and by 24 was at normal weight. When I met her at 25 I had no clue she was ever fat. She's 5 feet 9 inches and 160 and carries her weight well. She's been open to me about her struggles with bullying and mental health surrounding her weight. She's very conscious of her body, doesn't eat fast food, takes ballet and Pilates every week, and maintains a healthy lifestyle. Something she's always expressed to me is that she doesn't want to be pregnant and reverse all her hard work. She doesn't have visible loose skin on her stomach, but that was always the largest part of her body, and with it being less elastic from the weight loss she fears she won't ever have a flat stomach like she does now and won't be able to diet and work off that flabby skin. Basically she'll go back to having an apron belly shape. Because of that she wants to use a surrogate. I know it's vain to use a surrogate for aesthetic reasons instead of medical, but I also feel deeply for my wife and how horrible she was treated and felt at her previous weight and how hard she's been dedicated to maintaining it. So I agreed, we could use a surrogate if that's what she wants. We had to do IVF to extract eggs and sperm from us, and the weight gain from that, 10 pounds for my wife, made her very insecure, which solidified the choice for us since that's nothing compared to actual pregnancy. She's lost it by now. Our surrogate is through an agency and is incredible. She is already 12 weeks tomorrow. People know we are using a surrogate and most people don't ask why, but our families have, and we say it's for medical reasons. My little sister, however, is in medical school and she's been badgering us about the specifics on why my wife can't carry. She wants to know exactly what the issue is and finds fertility fascinating. We never go into specifics, but I messed up one day and said that it's because of me and that's all they'll say. She says that I have no bearing on whether my wife can carry, and I realized I F up and tried to backtrack. I told her to mind her own business and she says she hopes it's not for superficial reasons like my wife not wanting to lose her perfect body and how we're exploiting a woman. I said there's multiple medical issues between us and left it at that, but I think she's suspicious and is spreading rumors since apparently my family has been talking about it. Ida for lying? It's not their business. Am I the a-hole for teaching my toddler the correct name for body parts? My toddler's 2F Dad is angry at me because I taught her what her vulva is. Not randomly. I was teaching her lots of different body parts, and I read somewhere that you should always teach the correct names for their safety. So when she pointed there, I said vulva, same with nipple and breast. I was just treating them the same as any other body part. When I said vulva, he just became angry. He said that there was no need for that and I was being inappropriate. He said if I had to, then vagina was fine, she doesn't need all the details. I told him I wasn't teaching her anything other than vulva, I wasn't going into any more detail than that. I told him that the outside bit isn't the vagina, and explained that's the inside bit, but he was just so angry. I asked him if he would have a problem with me explaining to a hypothetical son what a penis is, and he said that he would if I taught him details. When I was trying to explain, he told me to stop talking now and to leave it. He also said I've been watching too many feminist TikToks. I'm so really upset. I don't think I did anything wrong, but he's made me feel bad. Saying I've been inappropriate with her has just made me feel awful. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she never helps me when I need it? I, 23F, had a conversation with my mom earlier. Over the last 3 months, me and my fiancé, 25M, have been taking care of my siblings while my parents tried to figure out a living situation. They're currently living with my grandma. We've done everything for the children: school fees, events, doctor's appointments, a car, the insurance, basically becoming second parents to them. The issue isn't all that we've done for them, as I love my siblings and would do these things anyway. The issue we're having is that we were told that we'd be getting money for the children's activities and other necessities, and we haven't seen a dime. Up to this point, I'd let it go every time something came up and we had to cover the whole expense without her paying us back, even though she had said she would, as I was doing it for my siblings' sake, not her paying me money for it. This month, due to some unexpected injuries, my brother broke his arm and needed screws put in, and we had to pay for it with no help from her. We were a little short on the electric bill this month and asked her for help. She proceeded to tell me how she has no money right now and she can't give us anything. We accepted it as we thought she just didn't have the money. Fast forward to today, when the bills are due, and she posts on Facebook and tags me in it. It's a picture of her with a new Gucci purse with the caption, "Sorry I couldn't give you the money." We were mad, but we didn't say anything. My sister texted my fiancé a little bit before my mom asking if I could get her juice and 10 more pods for her vape since she lost hers, and he told her no, since we have all the bills to pay and no one could help out. She then texted me and started an argument about it. I tried to include it, but it said it's too long. I can put in the comments what she said in the texts, so am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for limiting how much groceries I buy? So my husband and I both have great jobs and both get paid about the same amount. We both get paid once per month. We split the cost of some of the household bills. There are a couple I pay on my own because he can't afford it. When it comes to grocery shopping, he barely chips in. We have 2 kids, so groceries even out to about $800 for the month for all 4 of us. For several years now, he has only given me maybe $100 to $200 per month towards groceries. I usually spend around $800, remember, it's for the whole month. Every time I try to talk to him about it, he gets mad. But yet he's constantly buying stuff on Amazon and TikTok Shop. Would I be the a-hole if from now on I put in as much as he does for groceries and only buy that much? Like, his $100 to $200 plus my match? Would I get my point across that way? Obviously, I would not allow my children to starve. Am I the a-hole in this situation? My BF hanging out with his ex-wife. I've found out that my BF has started training in the gym with his ex-wife and ex-sister-in-law when I'm not there, and have raised my concerns about how much it upsets me and how I find it very disrespectful to be training with your ex, and ex's sister, especially after everything she's put us both through, but he doesn't seem to understand he's doing anything wrong. He says to me, "I've told you I'm training with them, so you shouldn't be worried." My past relationships have been bad. I've been in an abusive relationship, the action that rhymes with dating, been with a cheating narcissist, but I still trust my boyfriend. I've currently had surgery and his ex has offered me some nice advice and acting the victim, but he can't see what she's doing. I'm just at my wit's end to how to get through to him. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for singing at my husband's coworker's wedding? I saw a post earlier that reminded me of this, and it didn't happen too long ago. I go back and forth between thinking it was no big deal and that my husband was right, so I thought I'd get some thoughts. My husband, 30M, of 3 years, and I, 29F, attended the wedding of his coworker last week. I only knew 3 other people at the wedding, my husband's other coworkers. It was outdoors and people were just kind of huddling in their own little groups. At a certain point, they started playing a song that is a typical white people karaoke song, but it's one of my favorites, so I went booking it to the dance floor. When I got there, the DJ was asking people over and over again to sing the song. He was putting his microphone out towards the guests and no one wanted to do it. So I said, screw it, let's go. There was no open bar, so I'd had 2 beers at that point. I was not drunk or even tipsy. I got the mic and sang the song, and it actually got some people's attentions. More came towards the dance floor and were joining in to sing. No, this is not that happened moment, just your typical song like Piano Man or Sweet Caroline where everyone knows the words. I finished, some people clapped, I gave the mic back. On my way back, the groomsman and groom grabbed me to say I did a great job. They had me do a shot of whiskey with them, then I went to my original group. I was beaming and so excited, but my husband, he just had this stink face. One of his co-workers asked him, "Did you see what Opie just did?" That was amazing, and my husband said, "Yeah, this isn't the first time she's pulled something like that." I immediately deflated. He made it sound like I had embarrassed him. I stayed quiet for the rest of the evening and he never said anything to me afterwards about it. I figured if I had upset him we could talk about me singing, but he never brought it up and I was too embarrassed because he made it seem like I just acted like a total a-hole. So am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for going to find my ex after 2 years, after I was the reason her family sent her away? I, 25F, have had a lot of complicated relationships in my life, and this one is no different. My ex, 21F, and I have known each other all of our lives, but never truly got to know each other until much later because we had very different personalities which clashed greatly whenever we did see each other. Before getting started, I will state that I do not live in the US. Before her, I spent too long trying to run from emotional connections by being very dynamic in my relationships with other women, and when I got to know her in a rough patch in my life, I had just had a falling out with my best friend. That feeling was missing. I valued our friendship, and the unexpected ease with which she slotted into my life over the course of nearly a year, but eventually I couldn't help but want to be closer. 2 years ago now, we had started what I now regret to have called a casual relationship that was doomed from the beginning. Her parents are unbelievably traditional, and raised her to want marriage, and children, and all do it as soon as possible. When she originally spoke to me about this, I thought it was a sick joke, and the more time passed and they forced her hand more, the more I now realize that I never took it seriously enough. The last time we saw each other, she told me she loved me and she begged me to keep her safe. I was confused at first, terrified of the former, and worried about the latter, before she explained that her parents were sending her away to some really rural small town where her aunt lives in isolation with no money, barely any electricity, that they wanted to pretend she was no longer part of their family. The situation threw me for such a loop at the time that all I could say was, "I love you too," and I swore that I would do something to get her out of there. The next day I arrived with no set plan, no idea what I could do, and for the first time in months, my ex looked at me with a hatred that still haunts me to this day as she got into a taxi. The reality of this situation has since been haunting me in my nightmares, during my days. Sometimes I can't eat or sleep and the guilt claws at me and I can't breathe. I still hear her voice begging me to help her. The breaking point was my sister's young husband, who died of a brain aneurysm, and something in me snapped. For 2 years I have been haunted by my mistakes, and the horrible person I had been to her. When I saw my brother-in-law being cradled as my sister cried, it made me realize that I needed to see her to apologize, and to see that she's alright. That hopefully it wasn't too late. And so I reached out my brother, who managed to figure out where she lives now, and I'm buying a plane ticket and packing my clothes. While I feel this haunting guilt, I wonder if I am truly in the wrong here. If it was genuinely up to me to help her out of this situation. I feel that perhaps I did not do enough, but does it make me the villain in this situation? Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for posting my SIL's obit? My sister-in-law, my husband's sister, died recently. I loved my Isael. When the obituary was published, my husband and I thought the photo they chose wasn't the best. Actually, it was pretty bad. Not only did it not showcase her beauty and bright personality, it made her look off, like she was drugged. And there was some kind of filter on it that made her look fake and way more made up than she ever was. It almost looked like she'd been embalmed and they propped her eyes open to take the photo. I know this is not what happened, because she was cremated and not laid out or anything. I have no idea where they found this picture. I'd never seen it before, but I have seen much nicer pictures of her. Anyway, the photo was in the obituary, so when I posted the link to it on my Facebook page, her pic appears in the preview. I am sad about her passing. It was untimely, she was young, and I wanted to honor her through my grief. Her other siblings and her children thanked me for honoring her, people offered their condolences, etc. Now today my husband is mad at me, 2 days later, for posting that bad pic of my sister. I told him that it was part of the obituary and there was no way for me to take the picture out of the link. He didn't seem to understand and kept pestering me to get rid of it. Stop advertising it, he said. I ended up just cutting and pasting the text of the obituary into a new post, without the actual link to the funeral homes page, where people can contribute memories, sympathy wishes, etc., and now they cannot unless they go to the FH page and look up her name. I know my husband is grieving, so I didn't want to create strife, but am I the a-hole here? Am I the a-hole for making a big deal over cupcakes? It was my birthday and my mom made me 6 cupcakes and I ate 2. I put 4 in the fridge to enjoy one a day over the next few days. A little treat after work. I get home from work and all of my cupcakes are gone. I asked my roommate what happened and she had her boyfriend over and they ate them. I was like, WTF. She told me she'd Venmo me for them. I told her they was made by my mom for my birthday. She told me that her boyfriend wanted them and put her in a tough spot and she hates to tell him no because he will get in a bad mood. I told her to stop dating POS men and you won't have this freaking problem. She act like I'm the meanest person ever and keeps sending me $10 on Venmo saying she's sorry and pouting around the apartment. I told her I'm not renewing the lease in September unless she dumps her boyfriend and she said that's petty of me and she's in a tough spot and I need to stop making a big deal over the stupid cupcakes and if I was going to be such a baby she would have never ate them. I told her that's the F point. Am I the a-hole for ditching my friends? 25F, and 2 of my good friends, Molly, 26F, and Luke, 23M, have known each other for about 2 years. We all met online through a game we all played. I introduced them so we could all play video games together. The 3 of us became essentially inseparable, we spoke every day, every minute, every week. I truly considered them my best friends. After a couple months, I realized I had started to develop feelings for Luke. Over time I became less resistant to these feelings and leaned into my crush because I enjoyed the attention and feeling wanted. I told Molly all of this. Molly encouraged me to feel this way and assured me that Luke would like me for me and that his feelings were genuine. However, Luke would often flirt with Molly just as much as me. Come spring 2024, Molly and her boyfriend broke up. But a few days after the breakup, a friend of a friend let me know that Molly and her boyfriend broke up because Molly cheated. Molly cheated with Luke. They had been exchanging nudes and sexting for the past month before the breakup and Molly finally confessed to her boyfriend, but not to me. Upon confrontation they both confessed and apologized. I was heartbroken and blindsided. They both agreed it was best to take space from each other and swore to earn back my trust. After a few weeks and things had settled down, all 3 of us were back to being friends. Not soon after, they both asked for my blessing so they could be together because they both had feelings still. I gave in because I wanted to forgive and move on and keep my friends. I was scared of losing them and expressed that, and they assured me they wouldn't abandon me. Since then, things have been strange. I have started dating someone new and began branching out as well as starting a new job. But I also have withdrawn from them because I feel like a third wheel. They have consistently asked me to hang out with them and make plans, but each time I say no because I am busy, sometimes, or give a vague maybe. I have not played video games with them in weeks and when I do it just isn't fun anymore. Today I have been getting texts and messages from both of them saying that I am a hypocrite and did exactly what I was so afraid of when they got together. They say I hurt their feelings because I don't make time for them and flake when we do have plans. They have both claimed that they worked so hard to repair our friendship after lying to me, and now I am demanding more. So now I feel conflicted. I have withdrawn intentionally out of hurt, out of feeling awkward, and so I can prioritize my IRL friends and partner. But there was a large unintentional rift due to my life being busier because of my new job and new partner. Molly and Luke both know about my life changes, but are convinced this was my fault alone and accused me of abandoning our friendship. I can't help but feel like they have a point, and feel very guilty. So, am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for being no longer trusting sister and telling her she no longer can see my children? My son, who literally just turned 5, has been asking me and my other half/husband/ better half, no, won't go that far, for a PS4 or 5 for months now. He's seen them in YouTube videos. We both said no as we are trying to get him away from electronic games. My sister gave him her phone when she was babysitting him when he was 3 and he's been addicted ever since. My son has ALN, so it's harder to untrain him. It's a long, slow process. But we are managing to have electronic-free days now and again, which is great. And now only uses electronic to play learning games. Anyway, my son been asking and we said no as we think he should be older before he has one, ESP, as he has episodes where he can lose his temper and break things. So my son was 5 couple weeks ago. My sister didn't give a gift, which I was perfectly fine with. My son has plenty of toys, so wasn't expecting anything. Fast forward to today, and when I picked my son up from school, he spent last night at my mother's. He was telling me about his PS4 at Nanny's house, so I question him and he tells me my sister gave him a PS4 for his birthday. So I phoned my mother to ask her, and she told me my sister brought it over last night, and my mother told my son that he can play it for half an hour on the days that he is at her house. As you can imagine, I'm deeply upset as my parental choices are being overridden behind my back. My mother knows how I feel about my son spending too much time on electronics, and now my sister goes ahead and gives a game station behind my back. She didn't even ask if he was allowed one, and this is not the first time she has done this. She is constantly trying to force her likes/interests/hobbies onto my children. Star Wars, roller derby, roller belating in circles, knocking each other over. I'm already having a hard time teaching son not to hit others, and she introduces a contact sport, Lego. I bought them large building blocks which they were not interested in, and she had to buy Lego because her children liked Lego when they were my children's ages. Her children now over 20. I even said no Lego and she still bought it. I've told my sister that due to broken trust she is not to have contact with my children ever again. I've not told my mom that she cannot have contact with her grandchildren, but if she goes behind my back again I will be. Am I wrong? Am I the arsehole? Would I be the a-hole if I made an online complaint about a restaurant closing early? Last night my husband and I went to a chain burger joint, corporate company, not mom and pop. This is important to the story. We didn't realize how late it was and ended up walking in at 9:45 p.m. when they closed at 10 o'clock. I know it's crappy to walk in so close to closing time, but they're a company that's known for fast service, and there were some other people in the restaurant waiting on their food, so we thought we'd still be okay to order. As we were looking at the menu, the cashier who had been on the phone hangs up and tells us they're closed. We dejectedly said okay and left, super bummed because it seemed like they absolutely had time to make us food before cleaning up. Now, if there was no one else in the restaurant, or it looked like they were already cleaning up, I wouldn't have been so bothered about being turned away. Here's where our disagreement started. I mentioned to my husband that I wanted to go to the company's website and make a complaint, hoping to get a gift card or something out of it. I know big companies do this, like if a certain fast food clown's ice cream machine is broken, they'll send you a gift card for the inconvenience. I just see it as a small way of sticking it to the man and getting a little something free. My husband, however, thinks I'm being an entitled a-hole. He argues that if I complain about that location, then the people working there who may have been able to go home early won't ever be able to leave early again, and it will be all my fault. I argued that we don't know how the workers will be affected, if at all. It's entirely possible that corporate sends me a gift card but then tells the employees they handled it correctly anyway. So, would I be the a-hole if I send a complaint, or should I just let it go? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.